Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana.
This is Elsie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Tamaku.
Inside Ring!
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Sarks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Papa Dink, Brendan Dicker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
Tasman inside.
You are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans! Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe the Panther, Butt Bird, and now from the top of Metal Mountain, in the middle of the mosh pit, it's the happy himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? How's it going today?
Happy holidays. The merry bells keep ringing.
It's the last show of the season, Joe.
Almost. No. Almost.
You got one more? We got one more surprise? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, man. Yep. You ready to introduce the guest geekums?
Yeah, you want to introduce them, Joe?
Yes. You need to drink a little bit of Monster or something pink.
Yeah.
Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to one of our favorite guests we've had from the past is Foxy, and Kaide.
What's going on, guys?
Hi.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yes. Yes, guys. So, Geek, you want to start this off?
Yeah, I'll start it off. So, how did you get? I know you guys are teaming up together. So, whose idea was it to team up together? Was it the promoter or
It was my idea. I worked with Foxy when I probably was 3 years in the wrestling business. We were part of the Black Circle. It was a very short-lived going. Foxy wound up leaving the NYWC, and but we always stayed in touch. We were friends. We had great chemistry. Even when back then, and throughout my career, aside from Crusher Dugan, I've had a litany of either valets or managers, and then with the pandemic, everything happened. I did a complete 180 and my presentation of my character, and not just my character, but my look, my appearance, everything. And I say it all the time. I think I've said it now, so many times, but I was doing fine on my own. And this isn't a knock on Foxy, but I was like I compare it to being I was like a cheese pizza or like a steak. And Foxy just was the perfect side or the perfect topping that just.
I'm the potato.
She's the potato.
I'm a potato.
She just elevated it to the next level for me. And, a lot of the issues I was having, no, not really issues, but some of the things I came across was, everyone knows what I've done in deathmatch wrestling. And it's how do you really feel bad for somebody that's done just as much damage to his own body because of himself, tossing himself through stuff to hurt someone. So now with Foxy at my side, it kind of gives, pulling back the curtain, it gives me a kryptonite, I guess you would, that, I have this beautiful woman, my best friend, and they're able to get to her, which would affect me. So it just all around has been a benefit for me. And I think for her, she's probably, I don't want to say, I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but I think maybe the best time of her career.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Also, not only that, I remember we had Foxy on the podcast, I think earlier this year, and I think it was 2 hours before we had her on the podcast, the news broke that, okay, she's coming back to wrestling now. So
yeah,
that was mad. That was what, at least 2 years of me asking, roughly.
Oh my God, yeah, because you asked me around the start of the pandemic, and I'm like, nah. And then you asked again. I'm like, I'll think about it. And the last time I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. And then what was supposed to be one time a month has now turned to every single weekend. And it's honestly, it's and I've said it before, and I've said it on other podcasts and people. Aside from Crusher, I haven't been having as much fun as I've been having in wrestling, working with Foxy. So, we're something different. I know a lot of people see like the guy girl dynamic in wrestling, and it's either she's a valet or their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, whatever. Or there's a relationship with us, and then other people, even the boys. Like usually, you go in the locker room and you're working with a female, like, you got to be sleeping with her, or there's something tomfoolery going on. But with us, if you watch us, it's our friendship generally comes through what we're doing. Like there's, Foxy's like a sister to me. So it's just us having fun and just literally, if you said, hey, what is Kaide and Foxy like outside of wrestling? What you see in the ring is pretty much us, just with the volume turned up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And it makes me and Geek really happy that you guys are working together after us seeing you in NYWC for so long, with Foxy working with Damien and you working on your own. So it's kind of cool. It's like for us, it's like a reunion of the past of our indie experience with you guys coming now working together on the same team. So it's kind of cool. Like throwback for us. It's like a throwback indie storyline for us.
Like I said, we did the Black Circle thing, and that was myself, Foxy, Mikey, Whipwreck, Crusher Dugan, John Cannon, right? Cannon, and Scyther, my old tag partner. And slowly but surely, Cannon left, and then Foxy left, and then eventually it was just me, Mikey, and Crusher, and then it became just me. Scyther as well, and then eventually it just became me, Scyther, and Crusher. So and then like I said, we had a chemistry, and it worked, and it was always, I think for me, it was like the what if. Like what could have this been? And obviously this isn't the Black Circle iteration. Foxy's not gothic, even though she is, but that's not the presentation we're doing. I'm not doing so this is, as like I said, is natural to us. So it's that what if, but it is cool to get to work with her again and share the ring with her, and and she's not, and again, I'm gonna say she's not a valet, she's a manager. And if you watch like what she does in that ring, she's going head to head against some badass motherfuckers and just taking them on head on. So
preach. I just got kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Again. Everybody at Excite likes to kick me in the face.
Oh gosh. Hear that, kids?
Study your bumps.
Yes,
that's right. Right. But yeah, so like not only you guys are returning, also like it's like I did say before that it's also like a reunion. Like the SATs are coming back out. I said it before on the podcast, and it's like, wow, how many more people are going to return from the past? You know what I mean?
It's like
it's needed though right now. I mean, me and Kate have spoken about it and here and there in the car, where when we were coming up in wrestling, you had the other vets in the locker room with you, to share road stories or just bullshit or help, talk about your match, what you can do as your character, et cetera, et cetera. And right now that's like, it's lacking, because the people our age that are the vets now, like us, they left for a while because wrestling back then really liked to kick you in the balls, And I think a lot of, again, us, we're starting to get past that bitterness and want to help the newer generation out there, and are just starting to trickle our way back just to see what we can give to them like was given to us.
Yeah. We also got some comments, and if I want to read them off, we got Lisa RN in the chat. Gary Bader. We also have Papa Dank in the chat, and he's got a question right now. He wants to know if I could highlight it.
Tell him about it.
I know. What's Dante's problem with Foxy?
I don't know. Dante is a very talented kid. I think he's definitely going to be one of those guys people are going to be talking about for a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him on TV. As far as his problem, look, Dante's a young kid trying to make a name for himself. We rolled together. We did our thing, and maybe it's jealousy that I'm riding side by side with Foxy now. Maybe it's him just trying to make a name for himself. I don't know, but he wants to step like Foxy said. We're not playing nice with any of the new kids. I'm not going to go on social media and tweet and text or Instagram or Snap, whatever these, Snapchatting and all this. I'm going to come to the show. You got a problem with me? I'm going to come to you come to my face and we'll fight. That's just how I am. It's just who I will always be. Dante, look, he wants to fight. We can fight. We can settle it like men, or he can keep doing what he's doing. But if he thinks he's going to get an upper hand on Foxy, he's got another thing coming. I mean, she'll drop anyone in VPW for that matter. It doesn't matter who they are. So, like I said, maybe he's just jealous. I don't know. Maybe
I think he thinks I'm a weirdo, but I am. So fair. I think he's a weirdo too.
He's trying to get you to join his fraternity, but you're like, no.
No, man,
I'm not doing any stuff. I've been in enough factions and groups in my time. I've ran them. I've joined. I ain't about that. This is about myself and Foxy doing what we got to do.
You and Dante were actually a tag partners at one point, the Wolves of Odin.
Yeah, no, like look, we worked we were down in VPW. We were up in Excite together. Like I said, Dante is one of my. If somebody asked me, hey, name one of your favorite new up and coming wrestlers, and Dante would be probably the first one I would name. I think he's extremely talented. I just, look, I was young and I was hungry and I was willing to do whatever I had to do. Foxy's the same. Every young wrestler is. I've been there, and anything that Dante thinks he's going to do, I guarantee you I've done it tenfold. I mean, hell, I've been fired from more companies than Dante's ever worked for. So I ain't really too concerned about Dante Drago. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that something that we should say with pride? Like,
I'm proud of it. I think it's amazing. Right?
Controversy creates cash. There you go.
It's like, yeah. So, you guys, how many promotions are you guys working with currently? Like,
I honestly, it started maybe like 3 or 4, but now I don't know. We're probably up to half dozen, maybe 7, 8. It's honestly a revolving door. Like we've been booked, I think, from the end. I would say middle of October to. Obviously not Christmas or Thanksgiving weekend, but till the end of December, we've been solidly booked.
Yeah.
And it's anywhere from Pennsylvania to, whether it's Long Island, upstate New York, Connecticut, South Jersey, middle of Jersey, northern Jersey, like pretty much the Northeast is, what we're doing. And we're having a grand old time. Like we're, this Saturday, we're debuting for NYCW up in, was it Syracuse or Albany? Schenectady.
I've heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
We got places in Pennsylvania that are coming up, and we're in Connecticut, and we're just doing our thing. We're just having a grand old time.
Yeah.
Anything with ISPW yet? I know you mentioned that in the chat one time.
Not yet. I mean, I was just there to hang out and see old friends this past Friday. Me and the promoter go way the fuck back. Like me and Tommy Ferry used to co-manage together back in ECPW in like 99. But I mean, it's on the list. It's a wait and see game.
They're really good. That's another promotion that's like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Like when we first heard about VPW, like I went there buying tickets for my birthday, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be like, no, I was like, wow, I got a chance to see a lot of people and a lot of old wrestlers too, like people that were in WWF.
Yeah.
Like
he's very big on, I guess they would say the nostalgia act. There's a lot of former on TV guys or guys that were on the indies for a while. And there's a lot of companies out there, man. There's a lot of companies that are, like you said, hidden gems that people just need to go and watch and they'll be blown away. And it's crazy because there are shows that I go on or we work. And I'm like, this ain't gonna, whatever. You get in your head, and then I watch the matches. I'm like, wow, this is better than some of the shows that I've been on that have had a few thousand people or advertised on TV or whatever. It is hit or miss, but sometimes, man, those small local shows that may only draw 40, 50 people are probably the best shows you'll go to for the money.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So what are some of you guys' favorite moments this year, you'd say? Like from in wrestling,
and what we've done, or just as a whole.
I mean, you could do like both, like one of each. I
mean, for me, it would be the first time when she returned. at IWA Vintage Pro that they aren't running currently, but when she first returned, that was definitely a moment. I mean, any of the debuts she's had at any company, winning the Diamond Division title at Ace with Foxy there. I mean, honestly, like every show we've done, there's been something special. I mean, for me, well, I mean, not so much for me because I've gotten to share the ring and work with Tommy Dreamer a lot, but I know for her, it's probably one of her big moments is getting to work with Dreamer. So,
absolutely, because I've told them before, I was a huge ECW mark. I still am. I don't give a fuck. And it wasn't a matter of, oh my God, we get to work with him. It's like, yeah, that's really cool, but it didn't really hit how cool it was until it was like the entrance music hit. I'm like, I'm actually walking out to Man in a Box. Like, this is a thing. Okay. And just trying to keep my cool until we're like in the ring and he comes up next and he's like, you pops, didn't you? I'm like, it totally pops.
I guess a moment it wouldn't be in ring. It happened behind the scenes was actually that same show, Dreamer. We were fortunate enough. Well, I don't know if Foxy was, but I was in the AC locker room of Tommy Dreamer because this was an outdoor show in the 90-something degree weather. But Dreamer pulled me aside when we were in the locker room and he was like, you know, you and your manager, you guys are TV ready. You just need a shot. So that was a cool thing, you know, to hear that we were, you know, in the eyes of someone that I have tremendous respect for, to say that, someone that works obviously for a TV company. So that was kind of one of those cool moments. And then, you know, there's been a few others that's just, it's honestly, I've been hitting the head so much, it's hard to remember. So Foxy's probably better suited for this, but there's been a few.
I enjoyed the fireball you did at BPW, by the way. That was actually that was a pretty cool moment.
That's right. I mean, I guess getting to do work for AEW is definitely a highlighted moment for me. Like I said, I completely forgot about that. But yeah, honestly, like just getting every time, I'm just having fun. Like that's it. I really can't pinpoint one thing. Like we're just having fun.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like you're working with your friends. You just have you might have a ball. Like I'm working with Joe right now, man, and we're just killing it right now. We're just doing our thing. That's it.
Like that's what you said, Kaide. You're having fun. That's the most important part of it. Somebody told me in the past, if you're not having fun with it anymore, then it's time to like, you know what I mean? They say, if you're having fun with it, keep going. But if you're not having fun anymore, it's time to step away. But you guys seem like you're having like the best time ever. Like you bought the t-shirt, you were on the ride, and you're having fun, you know?
Pretty much, man. Like, you know, Foxy couldn't make the show this past weekend because her children, one of her kids were sick. And I went to honor the booking, as I should. But being in the car by myself, driving there, I was just like, wow, this really, I remembered how much and I used to do it for a very long time. I just remember, like, wow, this really sucks. Like, and no, I did. It was like brutal. I was just like, I just want to, you know, and then being in the locker room when you don't know anybody. So it's nice to have a buddy on the road and, you know, in the locker room that, you know, you're not that I care about being alone, but it just makes things easier when you drive with someone and hanging out, BS and listening to music, just talking. You don't even realize you're driving at that point, you know, and an hour turns into 10 minutes. And then when you're on your own, it's like, all right, I got another hour and a half to go. This is brutal.
Yeah, and an hour turns into 5 hours, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And a 2-hour drive felt like an eternity. Meanwhile, we do 3-4 hours upstate, and all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, we're already at your house, and it felt like we just left.
Did you at least have the grunge station on?
Yes, I did for you.
I was there in spirit. See. And did you get chicken nuggies?
No, I literally just drove straight home. I just wanted to leave. Like I'm tired. I'm going home.
That sounds like me and the mod after a wrestling show. We're just going to McDonald's and get chicken nuggets at like 10:30.
That's the one thing I remember. We went to VPW. I'm sitting in the car like we're going home. I'm like, we're going home, right? And I'm like, open my eyes, and we're pulling up to McDonald's. I'm like, why are we in a McDonald's parking lot? Am I the guy? And he's like, no, Joe, we're having McDonald's at 10 o'clock at night. Do you have a tapeworm or something?
If it's not sheets, it's nuggies.
Yes, sheets. Yes, and I live in the state of the sheets, the bed sheets and the food sheets.
Yeah, sheets is that's our go-to when we're upstate. Is usually we stop at Sheets on the way home.
Yeah,
so Foxy can get her selfie.
I always take a bathroom selfie. I have to. They have the best mirrors at Sheets. I'm trying to get an endorsement.
There you go. Papa Dank. Don't go to what's it called? That the what's it called? The gym. Get your selfie. You got to go to Sheets. Remember that? Go to Sheets.
If he's still in the chat, right?
Yes. No, what was it again? By me, it's Sheets or Wawa. Wawa is another place that's by me.
That's what we hit before we leave because there's a Wawa by my house.
We
have a routine. Oh my God, we have a routine.
Yeah.
Wawa, go to show, make at least one bathroom stop, get to the show, go shopping because we're in a mall at Excite at least. Go to Sheets, get gas, come home. Holy shit.
One thing I like about Sheets, they're a big sponsor of the Special Olympics. And that's cool. They always give the sandwiches to the Special Olympics every event.
I know that. That's awesome.
Yes. Doing swimming, I always got, you got your sandwich, Joe. Which one do you want? I was like, oh, Italian. Like Italian. You can't go wrong with Italian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's either that or going to Lucharitos.
Yes.
Lucharitos.
We got to bring you to one of those, Foxy, when I come back to Long Island. Lucharitos.
Sounds fun.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, we need to get sponsored by them. Geek Lucharitos?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have good margaritas, good tacos, good burritos, fun times.
Nice.
Ever so spiffy saying, hope Wawa comes to Long Island.
You never know.
Maybe, you never know, right?
Yeah.
I want that one that's in Florida that has the beaver.
Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's needs to come to Pennsylvania. Buc-ee's, if you're watching this, come to Pennsylvania, please.
They're making their way down. They're expanding, so you never know. Yeah.
They have pulled pork just sitting there, just like, yeah, you can get it on wraps, and I'm like,
have you guys ever done shows down south or?
I have numerous times. Foxy has yet to, but we're planning on fixing that in the future. So
I've only been down south for for when I was in high school, and I had to perform at the Disney parade in the marching band. That was like my only experience anywhere down south.
We're gonna get her on a plane. That's the goal. But I've done Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Like I've had the opportunity to go to a lot of places, other countries. So I'm fortunate, to go on someone else's dime.
Definitely.
Yes. A few good ones in Florida that we know of. CCW, Geek always goes to them. Mm-hmm. What's the other one that's there that you?
That's Gangrel School, by the way. CCW.
Yeah, Gangrel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
Do we know any of them in Georgia?
Georgia, I'm sure there's a couple. Yeah.
I can't think of them offhand. If I see anything on Instagram, I'll send it to one of you guys. So you put it in your book.
Man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I always like to help wrestlers out. Like if they're that area, they need to know where they're going to. This part is this, and then there's that.
Yeah, I also enjoyed your match with Alvin Cade.
Which one? There's been so many of them.
Well, I only saw the one with the one at BPW.
Okay, yeah. Look, I mean, Alvin is he's. I mean, I would guess he could say he's underrated or whatever. He's talented. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many times I've worked Alvin. He's good. He's just got a big fat mouth, like his head. But he's another guy. I don't know if he'll be around VPW a lot. But if he ever wants to go again, I've wrestled Alvin in probably 6 or 7 states at this point. It's insane. I've definitely helped him a lot in his career. So, like I said, he's just got a fat mouth.
And wrestled him for titles as well. So
I have. He's beaten me, and I've beaten him for titles. So not going to knock him. The dude's good at what he does. But just another one. I've been lucky enough to wrestle a lot of talented guys. So it's there are times that a fan will be like, "Hey, I remember your match with this guy." And I'm like, I don't even remember wrestling them. So.
Is there someone in VPW that you're looking at right now that you could say, I need to wrestle this guy or teach him a little bit?
I mean, honestly, for the most part, it's hard to say teach. There's a lot of guys I think I definitely could help by working with me. And a lot of that would be probably the believability because I'm sure if you watch the Rumble, Megan got it pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Those are brutal.
My big thing, and and this is just me. It's not ballet, and I'm not going to go out there and kill somebody or hurt somebody. But, when you're in, I think I put it on Facebook the other day. I hate the word performance art or this is like theater when it comes to wrestling. So I feel like it diminishes or devalues the risks that we put on our bodies and what we do. Look, essentially, is wrestling an art form? Yes. I mean, art is subjective. Art could be baseball. Art could be cooking. Art could be, bowling or golf. Art is anything that's creative or you create. But I think pro wrestling is a sport. Obviously, I'm not, breaking any fourth walls or breaking any walls down, but obviously everyone knows wrestling is a predetermined competition, but it's very athletic. It's very physical. And when I hear guys say like, oh, well, it's, I got to perform, it's, to me, when I'm out in that ring, and you can ask Foxy, I wrestled a guy named Dominic De Niro and probably went 15, 20 minutes and we beat the living shit out of each other. To the point where when we came in the back, she's like, what the fuck was that? But that's, again, and then this is just my cup of tea. The style of wrestling that I like is, paved by guys like Stan Hansen and Kawada and Kabashi and Vader, and, guys that were rough and believable. I came up being mentored by guys like Danny Moff and Eddie Kingston and Homicide. So I got that New York, Northeast, it's called New York strong style, but that New York doghouse, you got beat up by these guys, not like because they didn't like you, but you got beat up. And that era of guys like Foxy will even contest was in the early 2000s. I don't know if you guys, there was this school called the Doghouse.
I think I've heard of it.
LAWF.
Yeah, the Doghouse was, I believe, Foxy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Mac, Homicide, Low Key,
Low Life Louie, Papa Don was there.
And that school and those guys had a stigma for being badasses, and they were rough and tough in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough, and Danny Moff was not part of it, but he was kind of like indoctrinated because he was a partner with Steve Mack. And I was lucky enough to get to work with a lot of those guys when I was young, and they mentored me and helped me a lot and helped grow me. So I'm not Doghouse, but I was definitely fortunate enough to work with guys that were, the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider, their Doghouse, and I was fortunate enough to be around those guys and learn from those guys. And quite frankly, get an ass beating from those guys. Foxy's husband, Damian Dragon. I don't think he's technically Doghouse, but he came up with those guys as well. And I got to pick his brain a lot. So, my upbringing in wrestling was that way, and that's what's ingrained in me, and that's how I like to work. And I think that's what's missing in wrestling is these, I'm not saying go out there and knock the hell out of each other, knock each other out, but there's a believability.
Like, I was just going to say that word.
Like today, for example, I was watching an indie show. I think it was AWR or AR, someplace in Chicago. And I'm literally just watching it after I got done with the gym. My stepson walks by and he goes, "Who's that kid in the ring?" No, child. He said, "Who's that child in the ring?" I'm like, "This kid's 11 years old." And he's thinking this guy's a child. This is like a grown man that's wrestling. So I think that's also a thing that's missing is like, I said to Fala on Saturday, a lot of the kids now look like kids. And I don't know if that's just me or if it's just how it is, but I think the believability in that. So in VPW, I feel like that's something that I could help with. As terms of guys that I would like to, work with, I've been fortunate. Eric Tibbs, Kevin Tibbs, EJ Risk. I've gotten to, work with them, and they're the creme de la creme of that place. VSK, look, Jack, Dante, honestly, Mike Anthony would be somebody I would love to get in the ring with. I think, a huge upside. Adam Kane, I think we had a great match with him. I think he's got a tremendous upside. For the most part, I've gotten to share the ring with pretty much all of those guys in some capacity. But, right now, I think Mike Anthony, I think me and him could have some bangers. So I definitely would like to go with him. But Dante, whoever. I'm a man of the people. Whoever wants to fight, let's fight.
I mean, you and Dante could be a great story because you guys were like part of a stable. So, it's the story's already there. You know what I mean?
I think that's coming down the pipe. Just when and where and how. But, if things go my way, I think we'll bring a little bit of that deathmatch violence to VPW and have a little fun.
Yeah, man, you and Mike in a street fight. Sign me up for that right now, man.
We didn't even mention you versus Rat in a street fight at VPW.
Who?
Oh, Rat? Isn't it Rat?
Oh,
Mouse?
Mouse.
Close enough. Close. Different animal, same animal.
Yes.
Look, I mean, Mouse is someone I trained him from the ground up. Look, Mouse wants to go. I don't know what Mouse's plans are in VPW. Mouse is out. He's doing his thing in NYWCs. He's doing a hell of a good job in H2O. But you never know. I don't know. He may be one of those guys that comes and goes as he pleases because he is getting pretty busy. He's just like Bam Sullivan. They're out there. I'm proud of them. They're doing their thing and they're killing it. So if they have a big time, honestly, look, I'm at VPW. Originally I was at VPW when I can make it. I make time now to be there for radio. Also, I'm trying to help him grow VPW. It's the same thing I did when I was at NYWC, but now I'm just doing it in a different capacity. And what I saw Mikey do for NYWC is what I'm trying to do for VPW, and that's help him create his own stars and new stars and be a destination place for Long Island wrestling. Because I feel like Long Island wrestling, there's a lot of companies, but there's like a void of like Long Island wrestling. Like I know you got Creative Pro and they're focused on their students. I know Cardone, the major players, whatever they call themselves now, they do their show every few months. There's NYWC doing their thing, but Long Island used to be like a destination for indie wrestling, and I think it's time that happens again.
Outlaw too. We got Outlaw.
Yes, Bull's killing it. I feel I know Bull works his Long Island shows, but I know he's mostly in Brooklyn a lot. But I'm hoping with what Bull's doing and what VPW is doing that people start to come back to Long Island and really it becomes that indie destination again, like it was a few years ago.
Yeah, like I've noticed that too. It's like a lot of companies just disappeared, and it's like there's only like NYWC, Outlaw, and VPW and Creative Pro. That's all you really have.
Well, like New York's hard to run, man. I mean, and look, on the island it's like that, but then when you leave the island and you go upstate, I mean, you can ask Foxy, there's so many companies. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it comes in waves because, it started with Jersey was a hotbed, and then New York like busted out with all of their stuff, and then Long Island was huge, and now it's like everywhere in upstate there's something running on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like it used to here. It all goes through its like weird little phases, and not to say there aren't a bunch of companies, because Jersey still does have a bunch of companies, but it's the vibe that's different. Like the vibe even just gets carried into the different areas.
You speak about that, and you also have Thursday is now an option because a lot of shows are running on Thursday.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And I was telling Joe, and I'm like, why is shows running on Thursday? Aren't people usually working then?
They're trying to get an audience, man. Like for example with Jersey, that the building in Ridgefield Park, the one that Pro Wrestling Magic usually, they're there. There's a show there every weekend. So, sometimes there's 2 shows a day. Sometimes it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's hard, like think about it. I mean, how many shows do you guys want to go? You're going to the same building to essentially see the same roster, just with different, a different name of a company. It's hard to draw. And when you have an oversaturation of companies like that, and you're using essentially the same talent to an extent, people, why am I going to want to go? For example, like, why would I go to VPW to see Kaide and Foxy if I could see them at Outlaw, if I could see them at NYWC, if I could see them at Creative Pro? Like, you're not going to go to 4 shows just to see one act. You may go to 2, but it becomes harder. So, you either got to find something to draw people in, or you have to realize you need to find a different date. Now, running at Thursdays, I think a few companies were doing it. Now a lot of companies are doing it. It's hard. And then the problem with New York is you need a license to run. You need insurance. You need an ambulance. You need a doctor. The commission's on you. So it becomes very hard to run, which is why you saw an exodus of a lot of companies on Long Island. And it's still that hard. And then in Jersey, a lot of those companies that ran Long Island went to Jersey because it's the wild, wild west. You don't need a license. You just need a ring in a building, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's it. Wow. Yeah.
So, like, look, wrestling, I know a lot of people say wrestling is in a boom and it's on the rise, and it is to an extent, but it's also has a lot of its downturn as well. And it comes, like Foxy said, it comes and goes in waves. Like everyone was all excited about AEW, and it felt like it was going to be a a shot in the arm for wrestling. And now we're here, 3 or 4 years later, and all this, we love AEW and Tony Khan can't do any good. Now they all hate the guy, So wrestling comes and goes in waves. Now everyone hated WWE. Now they love WWE. It just comes in waves, and then it'll go back to the indies. And then the other big thing you're dealing with is there's a big lack of indie talent, like stars. Like, when I came up, you had Homicide, you had a bunch of guys, and now a lot of those guys are either retired or signed, as they should be. There's only a handful of guys that are out there that are not, and then it's becomes hard to get recognition and name talent. So right now I feel like the indies are in a rebuilding phase. Like they're making new stars. Your Dantes, your Jacks, your Mike Anthony's, for example, your Marcus Mathers out in Jersey. There's
definitely
the Excite champion. I his name escapes me, but he's a big star up in that area. TJ Epics, trained by HC Loke. There's guys that are coming up that people don't know about, but like they do, but they don't know them on the extent that they're going to be the guys that you're going to be talking about when me and Foxy finally move on. They're the next generation of guys. So it's just time.
And girls too. There's Billy Starks, and you have also Becca. Yeah. Becca is killing it right now. So,
the girl that Radio brought in, the big girl, Sammy Chaos, I think her name was. I think so, there's a huge upside for her as well. There's a lot. Like I said, it's just gonna take some time, and guys like myself and women like Foxy to help get the next generation ready. And that's and there's other guys out there doing it as well. It's just about taking that time to develop and grow them, and then they'll do that. And then when we're done and moved on, then they'll do that for the next generation, and so forth and so forth. But it's just gonna take time.
And also there's people like Dina Steele, which was I think she was at the Pennsylvania show.
I believe so. I know who she is. She's awesome. She does a lot of stuff up in the Pennsylvania area, because I believe she's from the surrounding NEPA, northeastern Pennsylvania area.
I think she's the Scranton area.
Yeah.
And also Shelby Waters, another one that's new into the game. And we had her on the podcast like 2
she was
months
the blue-haired girl there yesterday, Kaide.
Yes, the girl from the wake. Yes.
Yeah.
She's really cool. She's really, really cool. She's new in the game, and
there was she was there. There was another girl. There was an older woman. I forget her name, but there was another girl.
Autumn Breeze.
No, she was there.
Autumn Breeze. I'm trying to work on getting her.
Ronnie La Fantasia, something like that. She was there. Look, there's. Like I said, it's just a lot of good talent. They just need to take that time to develop and grow, and it's going to be a good time. And hopefully, we're still around to get to work with them when they're ready in the new generation, and then finally move on.
Yeah.
And also, it also takes good podcasts to help promote.
Absolutely
these people as well. There you go.
Absolutely.
It's so funny. Like back in the day, I would ask. Foxy knows, can I have a poster? And they'd look at you like, here's a bunch of posters. Please hang them anywhere you can. Now I just go to the person, do you have any upcoming events? I get like 5. I'm like, what are they sending me pictures? And I look.
Like 7 posters.
I'm like, you wanted posters, Joe. I got like 5 pictures on the Instagram in the DMs. I'm like, whoa, boom.
Which is awesome, by the way. People are getting booked,
I love getting posters by the wrestlers. I'm like, and you too, guys, if you guys have any posters for any upcoming events they send you, send them to us. Sure. We'll post them on the Instagram. For sure.
Absolutely.
We love doing that stuff. Makes it look cool, too. Like, hey, look, we got a poster. Yay.
Yeah. So, I know it's the end of the year, but do you guys have any upcoming shows or?
Yeah. This coming Saturday, December 17th, we're going to be for NYCW up in Schenectady. December 30th, we are ending the year with a bang at Excite Wrestling in Johnson City, New York at the Oakdale Mall. I don't know our January dates.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on for January yet. I know February we got a bunch of stuff, and in March, January may be a slow month. I mean, the holiday kind of screwed it all up. But yeah, no, we got like I said, we're debuting for NYCW, like Foxy said. I believe I am teaming with LA Smooth, who is Lloyd Anawahi of the Anawahi family, Roman Reigns, Alpha, that whole deal. And then we got Excite Wrestling the end of the month, which will be live on Twitch TV. So if any of your lovely followers want to watch it, just go to, I think it's Excite. What is it, Foxy? Excite Wrestling /Twitch? I don't know.
Twitch.tv/Excite Wrestling.
There we go. That's why
Geek will watch it.
That's why she's with me. She's the one that handles all the details. But yeah, if anyone that's out there that wants to check out Excite, they got a bunch of shows on their library, would be called, so you can check that out. And they stream live on Twitch every show. And then I think February we're back at, I think we have Excite, we have VPW.
March we're going to be up in Connecticut, we're going to be in Long Island,
and then I believe 2023 we'll be heading into Pennsylvania. I forget the name of the promotion, your friend. We have NTW when they decide to run. So we're going to be all over. I've heard rumors and rumblings that a company called Vibro Wrestling might be making their return to the Brooklyn area. So I know we'll definitely be a part of that if they decide to run again. And we're just, we got places in Jersey, and we'll be all over. So
yeah. You guys, by the way, you guys are killing it. Thank you so much for everything, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah. Do you guys have any social medias or you want to plug?
Go ahead, Foxy. You got like 100 of them.
I have 100 of them. That's great. Excuse me. I am at Viva Foxy Foxy. That is VIVA FOXY on all social media platforms. That's where you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Please like the Facebook page, because if your friend requests me by my real name, you're gonna sit there in my notifications until the goddamn apocalypse. So that's where you can find me.
Oh, me?
Hi. Yes, you.
Facebook, Kaide Lothbrook. Instagram, Kaide Lothbrook. YouTube, just type in Kaide Lothbrook. The name's right there. That's really all I have. Listen, if your friend requests me and you got people that I know, or if I know you're real and you follow wrestlers, you'll get I'll follow you or add you. Instagram, if you don't like gym photos or gym transformations or reptiles or wrestling, I don't recommend following me, because that's pretty much all my Instagram is. And then the same thing with the Facebook. It's my wrestling and my reptile stuff. So that's really it. And then, Foxy, somebody asked about your book.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The never-ending book right now.
Well, no, I mean, as of right now, I mean, like it was in its final draft, but I did stop for now because, one, wrestling and school with the kids and family life, things are difficult to do during the normal school year. But also, I lost my flash drive.
Oh, no.
That had everything in it. So anything else that I want to do in regards to finishing the final draft has to go from my handwritten notes into the laptop, and I plan on picking that back up. I want to say once like spring break hits, because things start getting easier in the households and with the kids around like springtime. So
springtime. Okay.
All
right.
It's still around. It's just,
Yeah.
And here's a little Foxy fun fact. She names her gnomes, so you guys have every gnome.
As a writer myself, Foxy, of multiple different stories, I get you. I totally get you. I have stories that my Ghostbuster story finished it. I finished my first vigilante story. I'm on part 2, and I stopped writing because of the podcast. And now I'm like, no podcast. Grrr. Yes, I make that sound when I'm typing. Grrr. Sometimes I write grrr when I'm typing.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Foxy and Kaide, for coming on the podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to have you back, because you're our OG favorite peoples in the wrestling world. I'm Joe Panther the Third.
I'm the Metal Geek.
I'm Foxy.
I'm Kaide.
And we will catch you in the next one.
Bye.